And now the starting lineup for your Fort Lee Bridgman. Number 1, Haley Stubb. Number 2, Caitlin Park. Number 22, Olivia Kim. Number 23, Olivia Hausman. And number 42, Roxanne Perez. Assistant coach, Brianna Madison. Assistant coach, Josh Ford. Head coach, Kelly Lane. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Let's play ball.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here inside East Gym for today's action of this high school basketball showdown between two league rivals. It's Dwight Morrow taking on Fort Lee in a Big North American Division showdown. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by my producer, Dimitri Nanis, and our camera operator, Renee Matisich. So glad that he could join us for another edition of Fort Lee girls basketball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Bridgman are trying to get their 10th win of the season as they sit at 9-12 on the year, 4-3 in divisional play. This is the second matchup of the season between these two league rivals as they met earlier on January 16th, and Fort Lee came away with a 48-15 win on the road. Bridgman will start with possession on offense there in their home black. Dwight Morrow defending in their road white. Olivia Hausman in her final game here at home, taking that shot, missing it, and then it's going to be on a subsequent miss, a foul call against Fort Lee. So Olivia Kim will be charged with the first personal. Excuse me, they're going to say that is foul against Dwight Morrow. My apologies, Javine Joseph. Picking up the foul as Olivia Hausman will head to the foul line and sink her first made foul shot of the game. Hausman goes 1 of 2 at the line, coming off a recent performance where she was 5 points on the game against Cliffside Park. Shot from distance, no good there by the Maroon Raiders. Fort Lee had a 3-game win streak snapped their last time out as they fell at the hands of Bloomfield, 60-26 on February 5th. 1-0 lead for Fort Lee. Again, this is the home finale for this regular season. Fort Lee will finish their regular season on the road at Ramsey on February 13th. Fort Lee still having hopes of qualifying for the state tournament. They're right now 1 spot out of the playoff field of 16, 5 points behind in power points. Long range 3, no good. Rebound tracked down to the near side as Fort Lee will take over on offense. Here's Olivia Hausman again. Part of the senior class that was honored in their last home game against Cliffside Park, a game that they won against their arch rival 55-44. Hausman will trigger the restart with the inbound here. Haley So will get it back up top. Across the middle, and it's Olivia Kim getting the benefit of aggressively going to the rim, drawing the contacts, and a chance at foul shots. Israel Parrington picked up the foul. And Olivia Kim will roll in that first foul shot. She had 10 points in the win against Cliffside Park. Sophomore not able to get the second one to fall, but Roxanne Perez tracks down the loose rebound and gets this possession. Keep going for Fort Lee. Dwight Morrow being led by Milton McManus, the head coach. Sanaya Rain Fowler, number 1, was the point guard. Follow-up attempt inside, no good by the Maroon Raiders. Tipped around, and the rebound is taken in by Fort Lee. Here's Hausman the other way, 2-0 lead for the Bridgemen. 2 minutes gone by here in the first quarter. Perez inside, stops, pops, but misses. Rebound is collected underneath by Audrey DeGabriel. Parrington now passing it off to the far side to Fowler, and Fowler is going to be called for too many steps, a traveling violation. Dwight Morrow 1-17 on the season, winless in league play. As that one is actually dribbled off of the foot. Out of bounds, the far side off of Caitlin Park. It'll be a turnover for Fort Lee. Dwight Morrow arrived a little late for this game, which is why the start time was moved back a little bit. Into the corner for a 3. That shot is airballed, and the rebound taken in by Hausman. Park passing down low quickly to Perez. Perez maneuvers inside. Contested shot, no good. Kim tries for the offensive rebound. Another attempt inside is good. Perez had the putback there. Now is going to get her sneaker put back on so we could resume play. 4-0 start to this game for Fort Lee. Dwight Morrow, the penetrating drive. Now the shot from up top. And off the mark there by Carrie Perry, as the junior had a little more time than maybe she thought she did. That went off the top of the backboard and out of play, so it's going to be possession and offense here for Fort Lee, breaking the full court pressure. And Perez is fouled, and she'll head to the foul line to try to add to her total here today. Perez, one of the seniors on this team, swishing home the first foul shot attempt of her night, or I should say afternoon. Perez, nice shooting touch there. 2 for 2 in that trip to the charity stripe. 6-0 start to this game for Fort Lee. Barrington skips the pass. Here's an open look from deep. Front rim's no good. Offensive rebound caroms out to Perry. Perry getting it back to Fowler. Fowler across the lane, try to bank that one home. Hausman with the rebound. Olivia Hausman with a couple of boards already here in the first quarter. Taking it all the way down low, but had that one taken away. She tries to steal it right back. A little contact. We play on. It's going to be last touch out of bounds off of Fort Lee. Past the midway point of the first quarter, low-scoring affair, 6-0 lead for Fort Lee. Fowler maneuvers inside, and is going to get called for the travel. Again, taking the extra step, that time to try to gain some separation. Pressure trying to force a turnover, and it does. Leads to the opportunity the other way. Barry missed on the initial layup attempt. Dwight Morrow trying to get back to it, but Hausman with a clean block. So Fort Lee keeps Dwight Morrow off the board so far. Feed down low to Perez. That's going to be a jump ball, and possession arrow will favor the visitors. Shot again from deep. Dwight Morrow is yet to connect. And stepping out of bounds on the baseline is Fort Lee, as the Bridgemen will turn it back over as well. So neither Fort Lee or Dwight Morrow has been able to find a consistency with their shooting and also turning it over at a high clip so far in this first quarter. Yet it still remains a 6-point lead for the home side, trying to get their 10th win of the season. Kelly Lane, in her second season in charge of the Bridgemen, has done a nice job with an incredibly young and inexperienced side this season. 30 wins in her coaching career here in charge of this Fort Lee program. Shot inside was no good after Jacqueline Martinez was trying to find Ileana James. Dwight Morrow down the other way. Long-range three is no good. Tipped around, and the rebound now is secured by Martinez. Shot from top of the key, no good. Hausman's three was no good. They get it back to her, sets in, fires, and this time Olivia drains it. First three of the game for Olivia Hausman and for either team. And Fort Lee has taken a 9-0 lead to start off this game, as we're coming up with the final 2 minutes of action in the first quarter of play. Olivia Hausman tying her teammate Roxanne Perez with 4 points apiece. Olivia Kim also has chipped in 1 point. As I mentioned, in the North 2 Group 3 PowerPoint rankings, Milburn sits in the final playoff spot right now with 317 power points on the season. Fort Lee is 5 points behind them with 312. And the cutoff is coming up this Sunday, so it might be a case of Fort Lee just runs out of time, as they're going to need some results going their way to have some residual points maybe factor in getting them over that hurdle and into the playoff field. Martinez extending the defense. Dwight Morrow still scoreless so far in this first quarter of play. Martinez getting it over. James tries to put her shoulder down, missing the shot across the lane. Good hustle, though, to the boards by Eleanor Yu. There's a three from straight away, no good. And once again, it's going to be deflected, this time into the hands of Barrington. Dwight Morrow missing another layup at the rim. Fowler wins back possession, takes the shot, no good. 1:15 left to go in this first quarter. Dwight Morrow still with a lid on the rim on that side of the floor. They have yet to finish off a shot and get some points on the board, yet they only trail 9-0 as Fort Lee has struggled to find accuracy as well. Hausman will take a seat for the time being. 1:12 left to go in the first quarter. Again, for members of the senior class, this is their final game here at East Gymnasium. Nice pass down low, leading to the wide open layup for Ileana James. 11-0 lead now for Fort Lee. Under a minute now left to go in the first quarter. thrown out of bounds for a turnover. Possession going back over to Fort Lee with 48.9 seconds left to go in the first. Pass up top to James. She'll get it down to Janan Hassan. And there's a three from up top. Jacqueline Martinez knocking down the triple. 14-0 lead for Fort Lee with under 30 seconds now left to go in the first quarter. Barrington shot, distorted that time by Hassan inside. Goes out of play. 17.5 seconds left to go in the quarter. In the first matchup, Dwight Morrow was held to a total of 15 points. Right now, they're being shut out here. 10 seconds left to go in the first quarter. That'll be a traveling violation against Dwight Morrow. Inbound by Paula Pestic. James trying to beat the buzzer. That shot rattled in and out. Kept in play, and that'll end the first 8 minutes of action with Fort Lee on top of Dwight Morrow by a score of 14-0 as you're watching Fort Lee girls basketball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back inside East Gymnasium. 14-0 Fort Lee on top as we head to the start of the second quarter. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Renee Matisic. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Fort Lee trying to win in this matchup again against their league rival as that is thrown out of bounds for a turnover for the Bridgemen to start off the second quarter of action. Dwight Morrow was unable to hit a shot and score a single point in that first quarter. That pass is stolen away in the top of the zone. Good defensive work there by Fort Lee and Caitlin Park. But the Bridgemen unable to save it from being thrown out of bounds again, so both teams struggling to hold possession to begin this second quarter. Turnaround shot no good that time. It was a good look by Parrington from around the foul line. On the season, Dwight Morrow averaging only 22 points per game. Pestic was trying to get it over to Perez. Ball is loose. Both teams playing a game of hot potato. Mirza down the other way, and Dwight Morrow is on the board thanks to Renaya Mirza. Freshman scoring the first 2 points. 14-2 now the deficit facing Dwight Morrow. Hausman. Hassan getting it back to Hausman. Hassan will try her luck from deep, and she'll knock down the three. The senior from downtown getting that three-point look. Her first 3 points of the game. Pushing that shot was Perry. Another rebound underneath, and now a foul is going to be whistled against Dwight Morrow after the Maroon Raider bench was trying to urge their team to just grab the ball, don't go for the foul. Fowler picked up the foul, her first, team's first. Pestic giving it to Hausman. Hausman got bumped there. A lot of contact, no call, as that'll go out of bounds for a turnover there for Fort Lee. And a timeout's going to be taken by Dwight Morrow with 6:08 left to go in the second quarter of action. Fort Lee in front by 15 as you're watching Fort Lee Bridgman basketball here on YouTube. Out of the timeout, approaching 2 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Fort Lee in front, 17-2. They held Dwight Morrow scoreless for the first 9 minutes of play in this first half before Dwight Morrow finally just got on the board. Fowler trying to operate against this 2-3 zone. Sets and fires from deep, no good on the three. Rebounded underneath by Hassan. Bridgman looking for an opening. There's Hausman across the lane, no good. Hassan with the offensive rebound, trying to bank it in, no good. Perez again down low, still saves the possession. Here's an open look from outside, no good. Hassan with the putback. 5 points for Jenin Hassan here, all in the second quarter. She's the leading scorer for for Fort Lee here in the first half. It's all Bridgman right now, 19-2. Hassan did a good job of getting those extra rebounds without officially going over the back of the other player for Dwight Morrow. Hausman across the middle of the lane. She got fouled and will now head to the foul line to shoot two. That foul will go against Mirza. Her first team's second of the quarter, as Hausman will drain that foul shot. 2 of 3 from the line here in the first half is Olivia. Hausman goes 2 for 2 that time. She's got a game-high 6 points now for Fort Lee. Hausman will be subbed out there by Kelly Lane with 4:39 left to go in the first half. There's a shot from deep by Mirza off the back iron. Caromed out to space, and rebound will allow Fort Lee to bring it up the floor. Trying to go coast to coast. Tough angle shot. Hassan again inside with the offensive rebound. Missed on the putback attempt. Haley So was trying to take it coast to coast, and with her momentum carrying her off to the side, nearly hit a tough angle shot. And that time, a three from straight away by Sanaya Rain Fowler. Knocks in her first three of the game. 21-5 lead for Fort Lee. And the Bridgman will turn it over with the traveling violation. Dwight Morrow So getting it over to Fowler, but Fowler shuffled her feet into the turnover. Vesic getting it inside, worked around the perimeter. Running shot in tight, no good. Fight for the loose ball inside. And coming away with it that time was Mirza. But a steal produced by Fort Lee. Pestic bringing it down the other way. Trying to feed it to her teammates. So worked around inside. It's a shot up top by James, no good. Deflected out of bounds. Last touch off of Fort Lee. So possession will go back over to Dwight Morrow with 3:02 left to go here in the second quarter. 21-5 lead for the home team. Another shot from straight away. This time it doesn't fall for Fowler. Inside to Kim. Kim is fouled that time and held. That'll be the third team foul against Dwight Morrow in this second quarter. Fort Lee has yet to commit a foul of their own. Javine Joseph picking up the foul. That is her third personal foul in this game, number 22. So she has to check out. Martinez's floater, no good. Mercer with a strong arm rebound underneath. Going behind the back with the dribble. Up top to Fowler. Fowler cutting right down the middle of the lane. Goes out of bounds. Deflected. Last touch off of Fort Lee, so possession will stay with the Maroon Raiders. Overshooting the rim that time with Olivia Kim now securing the rebound. Down the other way. Layup attempt no good. Some contact underneath. We play on. So again, we'll try our luck from deep. This time no good. Fowler tracks down the rebound, and Martinez is going to get called for the reach-in foul. That'll be the first foul against Fort Lee in the second quarter. 2:04 left to go in the second. 21-5, still the lead. 14-0 was the lead for Fort Lee after the first quarter of play. They have struggled to find the range in this second quarter as well, scoring only 7 points. Across the middle, there's going to be a foul in the act of shooting. That'll send Dwight Morrow to the foul line. So Fowler will head to the line to shoot a pair. First shot, no good at the charity stripe. Dwight Morrow's first win of the season came on January 20th against Behringer. They beat the Bears 31-30. They will play Behringer yet again this season, coming up on February 14th. After the missed foul shot, it was a loose ball, and possession arrow keeping it down on this end of the floor for Dwight Morrow. A steal off the inbound by Fort Lee. Here come the Bridgemen the other way. Martinez getting it up top to James. James with a left-hand dribble. Throws it at the rim, and it trickled off twice, fell out of play, and there was a foul called in the act of shooting. So Ileana James, the sophomore, will head to the foul line to shoot 2. She had 7 points against Cliffside Park here at East Gym last week. As James will rattle in that foul shot. James knocks in a pair at the foul line. 2 for 2. Fort Lee 8 of 9 from the foul line in this first half. Mirza off balance there on the missed shot. Under 90 seconds left to go in the first half of play. Nice give and go there by the Bridgemen, but again the shot in tight. does not find the accurate finish. Fort Lee has struggled with those mid-range shots and floater attempts. That was on target, but a foul shot just rimmed in and out. Martinez weaving her way right to the rim and gets the lay-in. Jacqueline Martinez with 5 points off of the Fort Lee bench. 25-5 now the lead for Fort Lee. Coming up on the final 40 seconds of the first half of action. Across the middle of the lane, Perry, no good on that shot. Caromed off to the side. Possession will stay with Dwight Morrow with 38.6 seconds left to go. Steal produced by Fort Lee, but they left it behind as well. So the ball gets right back into the hands of Dwight Morrow. Fort Lee trying to generate another turnover, and they do. And that time, a foul from behind. Good hustle there by Renaya Mirza. Try to track down Haley So, but So will head to the foul line now to shoot a pair. Largest lead of this game here for Fort Lee at 25-5. As So missing on the first foul shot attempt. She had 8 points in the win against Cliffside Park. Second foul shot also rattled in and out, no good. Under 20 seconds left to go in the first half. Fowler, who has 1-3 in the game, now give her 2. She banks it in from deep. Dwight Morrow with 8 points in the quarter. Getting it down low to James. James across the middle of the lane, no good. And that'll end the first half with Fort Lee on top by a score of 25-8 as we head to halftime. Stick around, fans, as we'll be back for the start of the second half of play as you're watching Fort Lee girls basketball coverage here on the Fort Lee YouTube channel. About to start the second half of play. All Fort Lee here at home against Dwight Morrow as they lead 25-8 as we get started with the start of the second half of action. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Renee Matisich, thanks for joining us on our final girls basketball broadcast of the 2023-24 season. Taking a look at the stats from the first half of play. Sanaya Rain Fowler with 6 of Dwight Morrow's 8 total points in that first half. She had all 6 points on a pair of threes in that second quarter. For Fort Lee, they were led by Olivia Hausman, 6 points in the first half. 5-point efforts by Jacqueline Martinez and Jenin Hassan. Ileana James with 4, Roxanne Perez with 4, and Olivia Kim with 1. Fort Lee trying to get their 10th win of the season, get to double digits. They stepped out of bounds on the baseline, and that turnover will give the ball back over to the Maroon Raiders. Three from Perry was left short. Fort Lee pushing it down the floor. Seemed to be some contact, but the referee said all ball. He was right in that good vantage point there, so good deflection. A block there by Dwight Morrow. 3 from straight away by Fowler. Fowler never shy as she has that green light to have as many shots as she wants inside and outside. Pestic missed that shot. Three offering by Parrington was no good. Deflected last touch out of bounds off of Dwight Morrow. So the lineup is Park, So, Hausman, Pestic, and Perez. 5 seniors. Their last half of home basketball. Again, they will be playing at Ramsey High School next week in their regular season finale. Perez pulls her way to the rim, but missed on the layup. Mirza lost the handle on her way up for the layup. Taken away, last touch out of bounds off of Dwight Morrow. Hausman will inbound it now with 6:33 left to go in the third. Good job of breaking the press there by Fort Lee, but the pass was left behind. Here's Mirza. Down the other way, sidestepped the defender, a little wild on the shot attempt. Fort Lee looking for an outlet down the floor. Now a backdoor with a layup attempt, but a good block out of bounds by Mirza. Lanaya Mirza, the freshman, trying to provide a spark for her Dwight Morrow side. Park getting it over to So. Back up top to Caitlin Park, the senior. Perez for a corner 3. That's too long. Good box out underneath by DeGabriel, keeping Hausman off the glass. Fight for the loose ball, and it's going to be a loose ball tie-up. Possession arrow will keep it on this end of the floor for Dwight Morrow. 5:48 left to go in the third quarter. And there's a corner 3 knocked down by Sorrel Parrington. First points of the second half for either team. Dwight Morrow is now connected on 3 made threes in this game. 25-11. Feed inside to Hausman. Hausman left it short on the near side. Rebounded underneath by Mirza. The lead is down to 14 now as Dwight Morrow trying to keep within striking distance. Another 3-point offering by Fowler. Hausman with another rebound. Haley So finding the trailer in Hausman. Hausman across the lane, and that time she will draw the contact, and Olivia Hausman will head back to the foul line where she's 3 for 4 at the charity stripe here in this game, and there looks to be an injured Dwight Morrow player as well as Parrington is slow to get to her feet after that contact was made near the foul line. Injury timeout on the floor, 4:56 left to go here in the third quarter. Fort Lee in front 25-11. Barrington has gotten to her feet. Nice round of applause for her as she's being attended to by the Fort Lee trainer Tom Herr. So Barrington walks off the floor and is now going to be attended to by the trainer. 4:56 left to go in the third, and Hausman heading to the foul line to shoot a pair. That foul was charged against Mirza, her third, as Hausman nets home the first point of the second half for Fort Lee. Hausman with a game-high 7. Missed on that second foul shot. 4 of 6 at the foul line in the game. 15-point lead for Fort Lee, 26-11. Fowler from straight away. Could not get the three. Rebound secured by Haley So. So pushing it down the floor. Pass a little too long for her teammate as that deflects out of bounds for the turnover. Dwight Morrow last season lost here on the road 58-22 in East Gym. And a nice running shot inside the lane by Fowler. Fowler now has 8 of Dwight Morrow's 13 points in the game and pulls the Maroon Raiders back within 13. Fort Lee is doubled up. Dwight Morrow 26-13. That shot off the mark, and Kelly Lane's Bridgman, they've been struggling to find their offensive touch. This season has been a struggle with a younger unit. It's averaging around 37 points per game this season on offense, while doing a good job defensively, only allowing 43. Fowler across the lane. Had that pass deflected away, and it's going to be a foul with a reach-in foul against Dwight Morrow. Past the midway point of the third quarter. 26-13, Fort Lee in front. They led 14-0 after the first 8 minutes of play. Much more competitive second quarter, 11-8. Fort Lee outscored Dwight Morrow, and so far, Dwight Morrow has had the better of the third quarter. Fort Lee has scored only 1 point so far here in the quarter, being outscored 5-1. Hausman from deep. No good. And with the ball being controlled underneath, the timeout is going to be granted to Coach McManus and Dwight Morrow to save possession. With 3:27 left to go here in the third, Fort Lee in control right now, 26-13. Possession for Dwight Morrow after, again, the timeout was called. 3:20 left to go in the third quarter. Fowler lost the dribble. Got it away with a double dribble there. But that leads to the eventual shot knocked down by Dwight Morrow, and we have ourselves a ball game here. Joseph knocked down the shot. 8 points in the quarter here for Dwight Morrow, as Kim tried to drive to the lane but missed on the shot. Ileana James now getting it out to the far side. Here's James straight away, and she knocks down the three. Ileana James now with her first made three of the game. She's got 7. (29-16), back to a 13-point advantage. That three by Perry was no good. Hassan with the rebound. Here's the breakout the other way. Martinez in the open floor. Missed on the left-hand layup, but cleaned up inside by James. Ileana James, the sophomore, with 9 points now. The leading scorer in this game for the Bridgmen off the bench. She has provided an offensive spark in the last couple of possessions, scoring the last 5 unanswered points. Loose ball tie-up. Jump ball, possession arrow will favor Fort Lee with 1:51 left to go in this third quarter of action. Thank you for supporting proud student athletes from both schools here today and supporting Fort Lee girls basketball throughout the course of this entire winter season. Approaching the final 90 seconds. And a push foul is going to be called against Fort Lee. For the Bridgmen, that's going to be their first foul. That went against Eleanor Yu. Her first, team's first of the quarter. Went through the fingertips of Perry. She tried to hustle her way into the corner to save it, but could not track it down in time. Martinez will outlet it to James. Jacqueline Martinez with 5 points in the game. James gets bumped there at the top of the key. That'll be the third team foul and also the third personal foul against Carrie Perry. James from deep, no good. Rebounded underneath by Dwight Morrow as they triggered the break the other way. And unfortunate that time, a collision ensued between a couple of Dwight Morrow players. And that led to the pass then being thrown out of bounds. Turnover will give possession back over to Fort Lee with 1 minute exactly remaining here in the third quarter. James will leave it off. And there's a nice looking three connected that time by Eleanor Yu. Yu's first 3 points of the game. The freshman had 19 points and 4 made threes in the win against Cliffside Park on senior night. Hassan with a rebound after the Fowler miss. Weaving her way down the other way, but misfiring that time was Martinez. Loose ball tie up, and possession error will give it back over to Dwight Morrow. 17.9 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Fort Lee in front of Dwight Morrow by a score of 34-16. That shot was partially blocked. And possession will stay with Dwight Morrow with 4.4 seconds left to go in the quarter. Quick inbound. Pass was deflected away, and that final turnover will end the third quarter That saw Fort Lee mount a little bit of a run there near the end of the quarter to take a 34-16 into the fourth quarter of play. They outscored Dwight Morrow 9-8 in that third quarter. So stick around as we head to the fourth quarter of our last girls basketball game of the season this year here at East Gym on YouTube. (34-16), Fort Lee in front, trying to close in on their 10th win of the season and keep those faint postseason hopes alive. As that three by Haley So was no good. Mirza from deep. Rebound secured underneath by Perez. Fort Lee has won their last two home games in the American Division against both Cliffside Park and Ridgefield Park. Coming into this game here today, trying to get another divisional win. Lost the lane, no good. Good to see Sorrell Barrington back into the game. She's the one who left injured earlier in this game. Hausman down the middle, and a traveling violation. She actually knew it, and the body language also helped the official make that call on the far side. Will there be a travel or double dribble? Right to the rim. Good move there by Fowler off the ball. She got fouled in the act of shooting. That'll send her to the foul line with 6:44 remaining here in regulation. Dwight Morrow still with a couple more games on their schedule in the regular season after Fowler misses on the first foul shot attempt. She's 0 for 3 at the line here today. They'll head home for a game against Dumont tomorrow before finishing up their season with 3 consecutive games on the road. They'll travel to Behringer, who's the only team they defeated so far this season, at St. Mary of Rutherford and Bergen Charter. Fort Lee simply finishes up with Ramsey next week. Putback layup is good for Roxanne Perez. Perez now with 6 points in her swan song here at East Gym. Lead is back to 20, 36-16. These seniors obviously were part of that dream season a season ago that saw Fort Lee produce the most wins in a single season in girls basketball history, going 21-9, winning games in the county tournament as well as the state tournament, as that's a foul to be whistled against Dwight Morrow. And will send Caitlin Park to the foul line in search of her first points of the game. So they were part of that championship team from a season ago that won the Big North American Division. As Park missing on the first foul shot. Dumont already has clinched the league title in the Big North American Division this season. Ridgefield Park in second place. Fort Lee can finish tied for second place this year with Ridgefield Park if they win here today. They'd have identical 5-3 league records. Park missing on a bearer at the foul line. as that goes out of play with 5:56 left to go in the fourth quarter. Again, in North 2, Group 3, the top team is Chatham, and they have a huge gap between them and Colonia, who would be the number 2 seed, according to PowerPoints. Chatham always known as the girls' basketball power in the Garden State. Hausman sets and fires and drains the three. Second made three of the afternoon for Olivia Hausman. She's got 10 points. Leading scorer now for Fort Lee here in her final home game. 39-16, largest lead of the game now for the Bridgemen. Ball pinballs around on the floor. Finally is sent up by Barrington. As Fort Lee will take it down the other way as we come up on 3 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. Dan Long, Renee Matisich, Dimitri Nanis, thanks for joining us for our broadcast coverage of Fort Lee girls basketball and Fort Lee athletics all season long. It's been fun to broadcast so many different games here from East Gymnasium this winter, whether it be wrestling and certainly the abundance of basketball that we've been able to bring fans to enjoy throughout the course of this winter season. Another three from straightaway by Barrington. Tipped away into the hands of Hausman. Hausman outlets it down the floor. And there's going to be a layup there for Fort Lee. So Caitlin Park will get her first 2 points of the game, the senior on the board. Big smile on her face as well after a nice, unselfish look down the floor by Hausman. At the midway point of the fourth quarter, 41-16 lead for Fort Lee. They've had double-digit wins in each of their last 5 meetings with Dwight Morrow, and that trend will continue here this afternoon. A bump foul will stop play after Haley So had collected the loose ball with 3:46 left to go in the fourth. The foul will be against Carrie Perry. For Perry of Dwight Morrow, that will be her 4th personal foul. Martinez's shot was left short, caromed out into the corner, out of bounds with 3:31 left. Fowler picked up her dribble, does get it over to Barrington. Barrington fires as it caroms out into the corner, tracked down by Joseph. Mirza had his steam right to the rim, blocked out of bounds. Clean block underneath by Hassan. So that goes out of bounds, and now Olivia Hausman getting the curtain call as she will come off the floor. And Amber Lask, the freshman, number 5, will come on for the first time in this game. So Hausman got the round of applause as she came off. And if her afternoon is done, Olivia with 10 points in her last home game in her Fort Lee career. Again, she was a big part as a player off the bench last year for the league championship team for Fort Lee. And team that was able to host playoff game and have an opportunity to make some noise. So credit to Olivia on a nice career here at Fort Lee. That jumper is knocked down by Fowler, and Fowler has also reached now double digits. She's got 10 points. 10 of Dwight Morrow's 18. Across the middle of the lane by Martinez, running shot no good. Dwight Morrow was held to 15 points in the first meeting, up to 18 points here today. Barry's shot no good. Martinez tracked it down. Collision ensues, and another foul is going to be whistled against the Maroon Raiders. That'll be their 3rd team foul of the fourth quarter, and the 4th personal foul against Mirza. The Bridgemen on their way to a 10-12 record on the season. Again, they'll have a final game of the regular season awaiting them against Ramsey There's a wide open three, knocked down to the near side. Nice looking jumper there by Caitlin Park. She's got all 5 of her points here in the fourth quarter. Fowler again from top of the key, no good. Yes, Hassan has done a nice job inside on the offensive and defensive glass. She's got 5 points. Was holding on to it briefly. Now into the corner it goes. Deflected out of bounds. Will stay with Fort Lee with 1:48 left to go. I'd like to thank all of our proud sponsors for our broadcast coverage this season. The law offices of Deborah L. Pico. Law offices of Mark J. Sokolich. There's that 3 off the mark. Fort Lee SC. They help make these broadcasts a possibility this season. Inbound was to Hassan, and jump ball is going to give possession back over to Dwight Morrow with 95 seconds left to go. Across the lane, no good. Sedona Tap House, also another proud sponsor. And the finest construction. Into the corner. Hassan looking for an outlet. And there's the running shot that falls for Paula Pestic. Pestic, the senior, getting her first 2 points in this last home game with now a minute left to go in regulation. First meeting was 48-15. Very similar here, 46-18 right now. Joseph with a high arcing shot. No good, as that'll just carry its way out of bounds. As Eleanor Yu will inbound it here for Coach Kelly Lane's side. Fort Lee will finish at 500 here at home this season. This will make them 4-4. Time Perry was trying to make the steal, got a deflection, and eventually led to a backcourt violation. 27.3 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. Right to the rim, layup left short there by Mirza. Fort Lee will try to dribble it over the timeline and dribble out the remaining seconds of this impressive victory here at home to close out the regular season. Fort Lee will get their 10th win of the season and be saluted for their efforts, especially the seniors. So the seniors will go home winners in their final game here at East Gymnasium by a final score of 46-18. Congratulations to Coach Kelly Lane and the Fort Lee Bridgemen capping off their home slate here this season with a win at East Gymnasium, as Dwight Morrow will be looking for another win with their final games this year. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to Fort Lee girls basketball this entire winter season long. For Dimitri Nanis and Renee Matisich, I'm Dan Long saying so long, and we'll see you next year here for girls basketball on YouTube.